Hey everybody, it's Miss A and I am here with our lesson for today. There were quite a bit of students that were out today, and I wanted to put the lesson up on YouTube to help you guys out. The children are responsible to do what is missed. So today our essential question is that the children had to have, got so much stuff going on here. The essential question is, how can you relate angles to fractional parts of a circle? So, all right, so what we are learning about is we are learning about angles, and we are talking about how they work in fractional parts, and also the degrees. So that's the other portion of this, is focusing on the degrees. Children have previously learned with us what are angles. Well, angles are two rays that meet together at a vertex. So this is an angle, and angles, there are different types of angles. This is an acute angle. It's an angle that measures less than 90 degrees. Measures less than 90 degrees. And for those kids that are out copying down these notes in your math notebook or on a piece of paper and then gluing it into your math notebook will help get you caught up. So an angle are two rays. So this is a ray. A ray is, it has an end point at one end and an arrow at the other end. So it's two rays that come together at the vertex, and that it creates an angle. There's acute angles. Oops, I forgot to put the word angles in there. There's acute angles which measure less than 90 degrees. There are right angles, and those measure exactly 90 degrees. And there are obtuse angles. And those measure greater than 90 degrees. So we have acute angles, right angles, and obtuse angles. So those are the three types of angles. The children have already learned this portion of it. They learned that an angle is made by two rays connecting at a vertex, and they've learned the different types of angles. Our focus for today is how circles are broken up into fractional parts, and how those fractional parts are all measured in degrees. So fractional parts, which means broken up into fractions. And then degrees is how we measure the angle, is the unit of measure. U-R-E. All right, so here I have, I'm going to move this out of the way, I have some fractional parts. I have a whole circle, I have halves, thirds, fourths, and these are all required that students must memorize the degrees. So for these four, memorize, memorize the fraction and its degrees. Fifths is not a fourth grade standard. Sixth is a fourth grade standard. Sevenths and eighths aren't part of fourth grade standards. And the other one that they need to learn is twelfths. So I'll get rid of all of those. So there are a total of 6 that they have to learn. And it is fairly easy. So some of the notes that we need to have, the first thing that children were told is that all circles No matter how big, no matter how small, all circles equal 360 degrees. So basically, if I have this circle, if this is my start point, if I were to go all the way around, like I was walking the perimeter of my circle, the perimeter is the edge. If I was to walk my perimeter and go all the way around, that's one hole, which is equal to 360 degrees. A circle this size has the same amount of degrees. I would start at my starting point, walking the perimeter, and it still equals 360 degrees. No matter the size, a circle equals 360 degrees. That's the information the children were taught. Now they have to talk about how to group the 360, which goes along with our last lesson where we talked about grouping, sorting money. It goes along with that pretty hand in hand. So here I have, and I'll use this piece of paper, I have halves, a circle that's broken into half. So that means I have two groups, group 1 and group 2. It's still equal to 360 degrees. You see, it's still the same circle, but I need to figure out what this half is worth and what this half is worth. So I take 360 degrees, and I try to divide it like by my hundreds and then my tens. So if I divide my hundreds, that gives me 3 hundreds, and then 60 would give me 2 25s and 2 10s. 25, 50, oop, nope, that's not 2 10s, it should be 2 5s. 25, 50, 55, 60. So I'm going to sort my hundreds. I have 100 here, 100 here. That takes care of that. Now I have another 100 left over that I can't just break in half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exchange that for 2 50s, because 50 plus 50 equals 100. Now I can sort it. 50 and 50. So those are gone. Now I have 2 quarters. 25, 25. And 2 nickels. 5 and 5. And now the children just need to add these together to get the degree measure. 100 plus 50 plus 25 plus 5. 0 plus 0 plus 5 plus 5 is 10. Regroup my 1. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 1 plus nothing is 1. So the measure of a half is 180 degrees. This one's 360. So the children have to do that with the four remaining: 1/3, 1/4, 1/6, and 1/12. That is what they have to do to practice. Now we also learned about degrees when it comes to a clock. A clock has 60 minutes on it, and it's still worth 360. So if you were to take 60 times blank equals 360, you would figure out the missing multiplier. Well, 6 times 6 is 60. So 6 times 6 is 36 with 1 0, 360. So for each minute, what this tells us is each minute, and I'll write that as a note here, each minute on a clock is worth 6 degrees, is equal to 6 degrees. And for every 5 minutes, which is 12ths, 5 minutes is equal to 30 degrees. And this is how I know that. You see how I have 12 numbers? That's how I know it's 12ths. And if I'm here and I move here, it's like counting by 6 or multiplying by 6. This is 6 times 1 because it's 1 minute. 6 times 2, 2 minutes. 6 times 3, 3 minutes. 6 times 4, 4 minutes. 6 times 5, 5 minutes. 6 times 5 is 30. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So now that I know that information, if I were to say, what is the measure in degrees of a 10-minute time frame? That's 2 sets of 30, or 10 minutes of 6. Well, 10 times 6 is 60. Or if you wanted to do, this is a 30 and this is a 30, 30 plus 30 is 60. let's look here, see if I can make this, actually make that angle. This is a right angle, okay? And a right angle is 1/4. Well, I moved from here to here to here, so I moved 3 numbers. 1, 2, 3. 3 times 30, because there's, for each one number, there is 30, so that's 30, 30, and 30. Well, 30 plus 30, 60, plus 30 more is 90. So all 90-degree are all fourths. 1/4 is equal to 90-degree angle. I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments. Again, the students do need to fill in the degrees for the thirds. Sorry, this should be degrees. Fourths, 12ths, and we discussed that in this video. And there should be one more, the 6ths and 6ths. They need to fill in that. Those are the ones they're required to learn. They will have a quiz on that someday next week, so they do need to memorize it. They also need to cut out their rounds, so each of these should be cut out, and they only need to keep the ones that they worked on, the degrees. There is homework. It's page 207 and 208 in the Go Math Student Notebook. You can actually go into Think Central and print that up, or when the kids come back to school, they can get it. But I would like the notes to be on a piece of paper so that they could glue it in their notebook and then work on this tomorrow. Again, if you have any questions, put a note down in the comments. Thanks for watching, everybody.